out of psychological distress. And there has been plenty of that this year.
That is true.
But high strangeness is something else. That's weird. Now, we also covered, in addition to skin, we covered the Lemp Mansion this year, which our friends at Graveyard Tales also covered.
Yes, they did.
Did they cover it before us or after us?
After us. They have a bad habit of shadowing our show.
Really?
Unintentionally, but it has happened multiple times this year.
Yeah, but if you look, there was a point at which Astonishing Legends looked like it was shadowing Graveyard Tales. It's just a weird thing among podcasts that do paranormal.
We tend to kind of hit those. It's the strangeness in the world working together.
We did our podiversary on urban legends.
Yes, we sure did. And our podiversary was great.
We also covered the Voynich manuscript this year. And an interesting thing about the Voynich manuscript is, now, it has not been reviewed very much, so I don't know how accurate it is. But Sharon Diane Jones published a partial solution to the Voynich manuscript, which purports that the manuscript is written in ancient Farsi, and that it is written by Ibn Washia the Nabatean, and is actually titled the Agriculture of the Nabateans.
Wow.
So it's an ancient treatise on agriculture, supposedly. Mm-hmm. They pulled 5 names off of it as either translators or people that helped, which would mean that the pictures of plants in there are either plants that were described to them or plants they saw on this tour that they went. But yeah, it was a story of an ocean voyage and a quest for new plants.
So what you're telling me is that this Voynich manuscript that everybody was all, ooh, what is this? Blah, 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 was basically the travel journal from a garden party?
Basically, yeah.
Wow. Just wow.
It was like the Nabatean Farmer's Almanac.
That's wild.
Isn't it, though?
You know.
If this tracks, I don't know. This was only released in, September.
Sure.
So
time will tell, and we will bring new updates as they become available, because that's what we do.
Now, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, really.
Yeah.
Now, we also covered doppelgangers. We covered the jackalope and its German cousin, the Wolpertinger.
Yep.
We covered the Dark Watchers and the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
What about those Fresno Nightcrawlers?
What about them?
I don't know. Is there any updates on them?
Not that I've seen. Although, again, Graveyard Tales covered them this year, too.
Of course they did. Hey. Our brothers. Our friends.
Yeah,
over at Graveyard Tales and Astonishing Legends.
After they send us those Christmas greetings.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're our friends.
Family.
They absolutely they are.
They're part of the family plot.
Absolutely.
So, but we also covered Haunted St. Joseph.
We did.
Yep.
Beautiful town.
Yes, it is. We covered Mothman and the butterfly people.
Yep.
And there was a Mothman sighting earlier this year
Wow.
at the O'Hare Airport.
Nice.
United Cargo, which is the official name of O'Hare International, or the company that runs it is United Cargo.
Mm-hmm.
Employees were leaving work at night when they witnessed several TSA security personnel approach a red-eyed, winged humanoid in the parking lot. So why Mothman is hanging out in the O'Hare parking lot, I don't know. But apparently he's into something.
Walter was busy.
Probably. Anyway, direct quote from one of the guys. I was walking to my car with two of my friends after getting off work.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the day and how it felt good to get off and head home. As we approached the car, I saw something moving across the street on the other side of the fence. It was dark, but you could see it as the entire area was lit up, and there was a plane that had been brought up near the fence for unloading, loading, and there was a lot of activity around the plane. As we walked, I pointed out to my friends, and they also saw the same thing. About this time is where an SUV came driving up with its emergency and flashing lights, came to a halt on the road on the other side of the fence. Two men jumped out and shone some flashlights on this person, prompting the person to turn around and stare at them. It looked to be about 6 to 7 feet tall and was a very dark shade of gray, almost black, and had what looked like two large red glowing eyes. But that could have been from the flashlights being shined in his direction. Gray skin, though. That's a telling Mothman detail.
Mm.
Yeah.
About 10 seconds after the first vehicle showed up, another full showed up. And then they heard one of the guards say, "Lord have mercy." And they watched the scene unfold as this thing took off.
Wow.
So apparently Mothman has a drug issue because that's why he's hanging around O'Hare Airport. That's not in a good part of Chicago. Either that or maybe he has a girlfriend or something. I don't know.
A girlfriend?
A girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Mothman
I'm
has
just saying,
partner.
paying for some loving. I'm just saying.
No way.
He can't.
So, but
Mothman might have a
happened
partner.
earlier
We don't
this
know.
year. What else did we talk about this year? We talked about the Coral Castle in Florida. We
Yes.
talked about the Owl Man of Cornwall.
Oof, those feel old.
I know, right? Absolutely old. Completely old. Very old.
Older than me.
Actually, let's take a minute for a word from our sponsors. Okay. So what else did we cover this year? We covered so much. I mean, I'm really just reading down an episode list. But God, I mean, just the things that we covered: the Owl Man of Cornwall, we covered Skunk Apes, we covered the Missouri State Penitentiary, which was another fun episode. The Crowley episode, we talked about the Djinn, which was Laura's favorite episode, one of Laura's favorite episodes. We did the Halloween episode with listener stories and as well as other stories. We did the Bell Witch. We covered the Cape Girardeau UFO crash of 1941. We covered Clarissa's Tale and the Lost Dutchman Mine, the Bloody Benders and Sawney Bean, the Smurl family, covered reptilians. We talked about the Jersey Devil. And then last week's Christmas episode. And that was what we've done this year. So, Krysta, out of all that, knowing what we've covered, do you have a favorite episode?
Ooh, yeah, the one that, oh god, I can't remember what it's called, because it was a decent amount of time ago. But, the one where we went to the place, checked it out, and then made an episode on it?
Fort Osage.
Yes, Fort Osage.
Yes.
Yes, we loved the Fort Osage episode, especially since we got to go to the fort and spend
We got
time
to.
with the people there.
We got to spend some time with the people there, get the information from people who have actually worked there, so.
Now, what about you, Hunt? Do you have a favorite episode that you've done with us?
Like I said, I still think that the episode with the gin was one of my favorites that we did as a group. But I mean, I enjoy all of our episodes together.
I do too, and we've got a lot planned for this year already. I mean, we don't have every week planned out, but we have a lot planned, and I mean, what looks like it's coming up is, of course, we got Sam and Lindsay Porter next week. Rendlesham Forest UFO, we'll cover that finally. Gobekli Tepe, we'll cover that. We've got a Men in Black episode coming up. The South Carolina Cryptids episode with Drunk Theory. Let's see. We've got a Valentine Weirdness show. I'm not even sure what that one's going to be. It's just listed as Valentine Weirdness. Well, we've got Alpaca and the Donner Party.
Oh boy.
Not
Fun.
that they were ever together, but that'd be a cool name for a band. Alpaca and the Donner Party.
No, it wouldn't.
Definitely not, no.
We'll be talking about Landers Theater and Thespian Hall, both theaters in the Missouri area, so we will still be a little local.
Yep.
We'll talk about Salem witch trials. We might try to have Kate from Ignorance is Bliss on with that one, but I don't know for sure. I don't know if that's something she wants to talk about, mostly be seeing as she lives there and she hates the Halloween tourists. Well, maybe hates is too strong a word, but she's not happy with it.
Dislikes? Dislikes would be a good one.
We'll talk about puck wedgies. We'll talk about crop circles. We'll talk
the puckwudgies.
We'll talk about the Myrtles Plantation. We're going to cover Haunted Atchison. And since that's late March, we might try to go before we do the episode.
We can definitely look into it.
Whoa.
We'll talk about Point Pleasant, West Virginia in 1966, the whole Mothman event.
Cool.
We'll talk about Kelly Hopkinsville.
Ooh. Wow.
Which was an interesting little story all of its own. We'll talk about the ghosts of Gettysburg. We'll talk about the Danny LaPlante case.
We may look at talking about the ghost sightings in Lexington, Missouri.
There's ghost sightings in Lexington? Why didn't anybody ever tell me this? Absolutely.
We've talked about it.
We'll cover the Hyatt Regency Skywalk collapse, finally. We'll talk about the Waverly Sanitarium.
We'll always have to talk about Waverly, absolutely.
We'll cover Kirsten Stevens and Teresa Stone. Independence True Crime Stories, both murderesses.
Ooh.
And we have a special episode in May when Krysta turns 13.
Don't know me, I'm gonna turn 13 soon. That reminds me I'm gonna have to go to high school soon as well.
We also have an episode coming up about black-eyed kids.
Fun.
Oh boy. Didn't we do Black Eyed Kids already?
We
Not
did